What's up, Cannibal Club? PJ here, and welcome once again to another spooky video. In today's video, we'll be tackling another Japanese urban legend. I would rag on about how much I love Japanese horror, but I already did that in this video, so I'm not going to go too into detail about that. This urban legend is about a young boy who ends up getting trapped inside of a dream. How did he get trapped? I have no idea, but without further ado, let us cover Dream School. There was once a boy named Kay who had a very strange dream. In it, he found himself wandering through a school that wasn't his, one that he did not recognize. It was night, and the school was in darkness. The sound of footsteps echoed down the empty hallways. It was very eerie. He tried to open the doors and windows, but they were all locked. He banged on them as hard as he could, but the glass would not crack. The school was large and sprawling. It was like a maze. It didn't seem to make sense. Walking down the corridor would bring him back again to the place he was before. It was very strange, as if the normal rules of time and space did not apply. Kay was starting to get scared. He began to run down the hallway. The corridor stretched on and on without end, and there was no exit. After running past the same set of classrooms several times, Kay noticed something odd. The corridor was an endless loop. No matter how long he ran down the corridor, he would always find himself back to the start. He decided to try to find a different route. He ran down the hallway to the right, then took the first left, then the first left again. He entered the home economics room and went out the door on the other side. He found himself in another hallway. He entered the art room and went out the door on the other side. Somehow, it brought him to the third floor, next to the girls' toilets. He went through the music room and ran down the hallway, past another set of classrooms. He came to the stairs and went down. He kept wandering and wandering. The night seemed to last forever, and felt like dawn would never come. Kay heard the muffled sound of a clock chiming. When he looked up, he saw a clock. The hands were swinging back and forth like a pendulum. Kay heard the echo of heavy footsteps chasing him. He was too scared to look behind him and desperately wanted to escape. He ran up a set of stairs that should have taken him to the fourth floor, but instead, he found himself on the first floor, outside the audiovisual room. The footsteps began to get faster and faster. He ran down the corridor and turned left, left again, right, then left again. He came out in front of another set of classrooms. At the end of the hallway, there was an emergency exit, but the box that housed the key was smashed and the key was missing. There was a note inside that said the key was in classroom 108. The footsteps were getting closer and closer. Kay ran down the stairs. He turned left, ran down the hallway, then turned right again. He found himself outside a classroom. On the door, there was a sign that read 108. Kay opened the door, stepped inside, and shut the door behind him. The classroom was in darkness, and he could barely see. He flickered the light switch, but it didn't work. The classroom was filled with desks, and there were bags hanging on the back of each chair. Kay searched desperately through them. He looked in every bag, searched in every drawer. All the while, he could hear the footsteps coming down the hallway. Before long, he heard something banging loudly against the door to the classroom. Kay still couldn't find the key he was looking for. He pulled the drawers out of the desk and tipped them over on the floor. He opened the bags and began dumping the contents onto the floor. The sound of banging grew louder and louder. The door seemed like it was about to come off its hinges. He searched desperately, but he still couldn't find the key. Just then, the knocking on the door suddenly stopped. There was an eerie silence. Kay stood there trembling, waiting with bated breath. He stood there in the darkened classroom, afraid to move a muscle. After a while, he still couldn't hear anything. So he went to the door. He reached out, turned the handle, opened it gently, and peered into the corridor. What he saw horrified him, and a scream died in his throat. There were countless boys and girls. They were in pieces. Their heads, arms, and legs were severed from their torsos. The floor was awash with their blood, and they were dancing, jerking back and forth, their limbs flailing to and fro to a dance of death. Kay was drawn into the dream. His body remained asleep. He was never able to wake up. Even today, he is still wandering through the school in his mind. Now that you've heard about the story, you must try to forget about it. If you don't forget about the story within a week, you will have the same dream in which you will find yourself wandering the school. You will have to find the key and escape through the emergency exit before you come across the pieces of boys and girls who dance. Or you will be drawn into the dream. And that was Dream School. Boy, was that a poorly written shithole or what? But let me know what you think, and if you want me to cover more urban legends like this in the future. But for now, my name is PJ, and I am gonna go get ice cream.